Caitlin Clark's fan base may be the most discussed in recent times. Maybe ever. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen the fans be a subject of discourse as much as Clark's fans and thereby Fever fans were in her rookie season in the WNBA. Like you've heard about Philly fans and Santa Claus or various fan bases and one incident or whatever, but just like as a topic of conversation and where the players in the league are talking about them and the like, and fans are arguing about them online. But we got some insight from somebody on the inside, that being Kelsey Mitchell, who clearly, I'll say this about the Clark and Fever fans, who I have much love for, of course. But at the beginning, I felt there was a little protectiveness around Clark and again, this goes for every fan base. So please, I'm not singling out Caitlin Clark and Fever fans and saying all, but every fan base has people who act a certain way. I do think there was this notion at the beginning of, anything that bad happened had to be blamed on somebody else or wasn't Clark's fault. Or remember even the conspiracies, they're not passing to her. They don't want her to have there was a whole bunch of wild stuff at the beginning because so many fans came in as Caitlin Clark fans or Iowa fans and hadn't followed the league before. But then I saw this, beautiful journey as the season went along, where all of a sudden those fans became huge fans. And this is almost for all now I'm speaking of the other players, whether it's Kelsey Mitchell or Leah Boston or whomever, and they really grew to love the Fever. And then you've seen those fans become fans of the league and other players. And, say, this is my other favorite player or my other favorite team, or, I'm watching the beginning of Unrivaled or whatever. I'm watching women's college basketball now. Hell, I even seen people become NBA watchers because they weren't basketball fans before and they came through. And it's why I've preached this message of, how stupid it was to reject all these new fans who outweighed the old fans. But I don't want to go into that whole diatribe again, but I did find it interesting to hear Kelsey Mitchell speak on it specifically because she joined Erica Wheeler on Wheeler's new podcast, which is called Easy Buckets. And they did talk about Fever fans there. And of course, Kelsey Mitchell is back with the Fever.
I think that experiencing it, I love Caitlin Clark fans, but Caitlin Clark fans is different. They C Square, shout out to the gang,
different.
They are very passionate people and they gonna ride or die.
Listen, Caitlin Clark is a god to her friends. She does no wrong. Do not play. Do not play with her fans.
Let's just say C Square, I'm happy I'm on the right end of
it. We on the right end of the stick, man, because
I hate to be.
Listen, because they love us right now. But if we go right left, it's over for us.
Caitlin Clark fans, I love you back. I promise. Please stop. Her fans, but the one thing I would say about Caitlin Clark fans that I can't appreciate, they'll go anywhere she goes.
They
gonna travel.
She gonna go to the desert.
Travel.
Right there
with her. It's super dope though because it's they will literally go anywhere she go, and so she's built that kind of platform. And damn, that's lit.
So Kelsey Mitchell giving the credit to Caitlin Clark in a sense, and also I think she's mostly correct. I don't think anybody really disagrees too much with what she said right there, and she's happy to have them on her side. But it is those same fans, and Caitlin sits up there with Taylor Swift, and you hear about Swifties or the Beehive. Beyonce's fans or, fan bases that are especially rabid like that. And there is a group of that with the, Clark fans. But there's so much, they're powerful too. I've seen, I put CFC on the label here because I've seen them get people out the paint or pull receipts or influence content, right? It happens a lot. I think somebody even cut me up saying CFC is very powerful and it's used that. But those fans are again made up of a lot of different people now. And it's such a broad fan base now because you've got the basketball fans who gravitated to Caitlin Clark, the previous NBA fans who came over to Caitlin Clark. I think one of the least talked on things of this is how many men Caitlin Clark brought over. Remember the old Bill Burr bit? I don't know if you guys remember this, but he used to talk about supporting the WNBA, and he was like, why do the guys have to do that? Women are always asking for things, or, that's your job. You support. Why do you need the men we're already watching our sports. Well, I think that happened with Caitlin Clark, and you had a bunch of female fans. So you get this huge broad, and you get fans who never watched the sport before, who just got compelled by this story from Iowa where they were there. So it's just like this huge, and then you appeal to an international audience because of the way she plays and everything. And then it gains all this attention. So all these other people come in, like it's just, and you keep adding to it. And again, those fans are now, a lot of them, you still have the protective Caitlin Clark fans, or like the fans who are trying to say like, these ratings are Clark's ratings and everybody else's ratings are here. Like, I think most people get the dynamics and the way it works now if they're being honest with themselves. But those fans, I mean, that's the beautiful thing I've seen, is they feel like they're now leading the WNBA discourse too, or following the free agency moves of other teams, or talking about, who's, unrivaled when it started, or watching the WNBA finals, or, everything. Again, the Paige Beckers and how she's performing at the college, just everything. And that's beautiful. It's completely changed the trajectory of the sport and the league. And then there's somebody like Kelsey Mitchell who benefits from it tremendously. She probably felt a type of way at some point where she didn't catch a pass correctly and she heard about it, right? Like, and she's like, come on, why, or you were out of pocket. But I think she, as the season went along, saw all that love too. And now, she's there. It's Splash Sisters. It's that backcourt. There are so many more Kelsey Mitchell fans than there were before. And that doesn't mean she wasn't great before. It doesn't mean she wouldn't be great somewhere else. But it's the truth. Like, she's got more fans. She's a bigger name. She is a bigger star, and she is going to thrive. And she gets to play alongside Clark, and there's just the basketball aspect of it. Because, I think so much of it is how entertaining Caitlin Clark is to watch. I really think that is the number one reason. But you can't watch Kelsey Mitchell and not appreciate her. And now all these other Fever players, you already see them like, yeah, DeWanna Bonner spoke up. Yeah, Natasha Howard brings what's needed. Like, it's on. It's on. And I just think, like, when you have such a dynamic event like that, it's going to cause some, it's going to be some explosion outward. And people have dealt with the after effects of that. But now we see it's here to stay. And I think, the positivity is only going to continue to go up.